So speaking of collections,
yeah,
Ian,
this one looks awesome. So SNK is doing a 40th anniversary collection.
This was revealed at PAX. I didn't know that.
And it's coming to the Switch. This is a different thing for SNK. I think when a lot of people hear SNK, they immediately jump to...
It's the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection.
Yep. They immediately jump to... Or when they hear the collection, they think MVS titles. Because SNK's done some of those before. These collections. They had the Arcade Hits one for the PSP and the PS2. And it had, like, you know, the League Bowling and the Baseball Stars and, you know, the...
Baseball Stars,
you know, some of the King of Fighters and the, you know, those
Super
sorts
Spy.
of games. Yeah. And this is actually quite different. This is a collection of their games going back to their pre-MVS days. And it's going to have console ports and arcade versions of a lot of the games. Some of them people probably know from the NES.
Thank God you get the arcade versions.
Yes, because some of these are just
Christ.
freaking unplayable in their home versions. So this is going to be cool. People will be able to finally compare and contrast some of these games that they may only know from the NES. Alpha Mission is going to get the arcade and home version. Athena is going to get the arcade and home version. Crystalis, which never had an arcade version, is just going to be on there, which is fantastic. Ikari Warriors, damn near unplayable in the home version.
But in the arcade, it's good because it's a rotary joystick, so you can strafe.
And they should be able to do that fantastically with the second joystick. In the arcade, it's a joystick with the knob on the top.
So you're saying using like a second trigger? You know, you probably can use the L and R's to rotate on top. That's what I would think.
You could do that, or I was thinking you could move with one joystick, use the other
to rotate
that way, and then you could fire with the shoulders. There's a number of ways you could do it.
I like my idea better though, using L and R to rotate the guy, and then using the left to control.
The only problem with L and R to rotate is you'd be at a fixed speed, which you wouldn't have with a knob.
Well, the knob you still kind of were with that chunky knob. You couldn't like do it like extremely quick.
Yeah, true.
It was a chunky knob. I like that joystick. Ikari Warriors. Anyway, Ikari Warriors 3: The Rescue.
Victory Road is down at the bottom, which would be part 2. Guerrilla War, which is fantastic. POW, which is fantastic. Prehistoric
The arcade version is fantastic. NES is all right.
I like the NES version, but yeah.
Didn't have 2 players.
Psycho Soldier, which is awesome. Street Smart.
Psycho Soldier is a shooter, right?
Yeah, it's like a side-scrolling. It's
what the hell is Street Smart?
Athena was in it. Or no, some of Athena's teammates from who the fuck from King of Fighters is in Psycho Soldier?
Oh, I think I played Street Smart once in my life.
Is it a beat 'em up?
It's a beat 'em up.
Yeah. Vanguard So, and that's not all the games that are being announced. The deluxe edition, the limited edition, has a really nice, like, clean look to it. It's coming with an art book and a soundtrack CD. And I think the Switch is a great home for this. So, yeah, I'm actually very excited about this.
Street Smart. Oh, it's like a combination fighting game and beat 'em up. There's fixed screens you're on.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever. Maybe I didn't play that. I'm trying to remember if I ever played. See that it came out in '89 or '90. So
I can never remember which King of the Monsters it is, but one of them has a similar setup to it. I can't remember which one.
Well, those you can walk around though.
One of them is mostly
probably
just
2
one-on-one.
There's why I don't like 2. 1 is a lot better than 2. I never played TNK 3. Vanguard, I think I played once.
I've never played TNK.
So I'm surprised, like you are. Like these are, like you said, they're not going Neo Geo on this at all. They're like, okay, let's go back to our true quote unquote roots.
It's time. I mean, the Neo Geo stuff is great, but I mean,
it's been out forever.
It's been out forever, and especially on the Switch, there's no need for them to go to that because the Arcade Archives Neo Geo project has just been releasing those by the boatload.
So this is going to feature rewind and save at any time, redesigned control schemes for modern feel, upscale 1080p graphics, optional cheats. The collection is being worked on by Digital Eclipse, developers behind the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary.
And they also did the Mega Man collections, the Disney Afternoon collection. So
okay, some bells and whistles here.
Real solid pedigree behind behind them.
Retail copy includes what looks like an art book and soundtrack disc of it. Oh, is there any decent soundtracks on here? I don't know. Kari Warrior soundtrack
Remains to be seen.
Crystalis.
Crystalis soundtrack is actually really good.
POW wasn't bad from what I remember for a beat 'em up. I used to play POW down at the Perth Amboy Cinemas in New Jersey. It was like one of the only multiplexes at the time. You still had, most theaters were like 2 or 3 screens at most, or one. And so that was the only one. That was before before it was Lowe's, it was like Sony theaters before they became AMC. So my dad would give me like $5. We got to like an hour. I'll give me $5 in quarters, which is like, it's 20 games. That's not bad. So I always play.
No, that's actually pretty dang good.
So I always play like Rolling Thunder. They had their APB, which was fucking difficult when you were 9 or 8. Now I love that game. When you were 9, it was hard to get into that game and actually know what you're doing.
I have very little experience with that game.
I want an APB cabinet. I think I just decided that because it's so goofy and fun, and it's a dedicated one.
It's one of those ones that you definitely get something more out of playing the arcade version.
Yeah,
so.
I love those Atari mid-80s Atari games. Anyway, and then I'd play POW, and I usually would beat it on like maybe $1.50 or $2 with a partner at the time. So, all right, this is a cool collection. I like this. I'd like to see more of this sort of like collection of maybe games that have been forgotten. But I'm trying to think of another company that would do this though without overvaluing their IPs. I don't think Konami would ever do something like this.
Oh, certainly not. It's good to see SNK still plugging along.
Absolutely.
In some way, shape, or form.